I'm Linda Brooks Davis. I'm the author of The Calling of Ella McFarland. It was my first novel, and as I was brainstorming what the story might entail, I thought to myself, I want to honor my grandmother, who was reared in Indian Territory before Oklahoma's statehood. And she married there and had her first children there. And I began to ask myself what if questions, like what if Mama had gone beyond third grade? What if she'd gotten a college education? Maybe became a teacher? What if she had joined the suffrage movement? Those what ifs birthed the story of Ella McFarland. I hope you enjoy Chapter 1. Ella had aimed for this day all her life. She would allow nothing to spoil it. Perched on the edge of a tufted chair, she slipped off her gloves. A corset stave bit her flesh, but she held herself erect. Worthington School for Girls expected no less of their teachers. Miss McFarland, we insist you understand. The chairman of the three-member board gestured to a colleague on either side of the table. Female teachers who marry are dismissed. She nodded. I read the school policy paper, sir. He cleared his throat. You see, unlike for men, the man's tone had turned as severe as his starched collar. Marriage divides women's loyalties. Women more prone to divided loyalties than men? Ella itched to spout a challenge, but she suppressed the urge. A Worthington teacher knew her place. Rest assured, sir, I'm wedded to teaching. Perspiration dribbled down her spine. It was 1905, the Twin Territories' hottest year on record. She plucked a handkerchief from a sleeve and dabbed the cleft in her chin. Mr. Chairman stifled a cough with a fist. Your loyalty notwithstanding. Ella's shoulders tightened and a tremor threatened. Had she forgotten the Lord himself brought her to this fine institution of learning? She inhaled a goodly portion of library air, as much as her irksome corset allowed, and willed herself to relax. We've reached deadlock. The chairman delivered the news as if it were trivial. Her insides clamped. You've reached consensus not to reach consensus? A recalcitrant spiral of golden hair slipped from its pin and dangled near her eye. A younger board member, one whose dark hair and had turned neither gray nor loose, covered his mouth with a hand. Had he hidden a grin? Unlike the other men's ties and stiff collars, an open-necked shirt peeked from beneath his brown serge coat. Suffice to say, we must deliberate further. The third board member's expression had tightened, rather like his gray vest. Light reflected off his pate. Ella had interviewed 6 weeks ago. These men required even more time. Undoubtedly, a panel of 3 women would find deliberations a simple task. But she held her peace. Far be it from me to... Well then, Mr. Chairman tapped a stack of papers into precise lines, as if doing so dismissed her. To the contrary, she would make a reasonable inquiry. Can you tell me, sir? The man's eyebrows curved into question marks. How long might your deliberation take? She met his stare with a steady gaze. Mr. Grayvest tapped a fist on the tabletop. We refuse to be rushed, young lady. His head bob sent a tremor through his jowls. The junior member, having squelched his grin, lifted a hand. May I, sir? And the chairman nodded and slumped with an elbow on the arm of his chair. The genial and, ever so handsome young gentleman turned to Ella. Clear blue light shone in his eyes. Good morning, Miss McFarland. I'm Mr. Evans. Pleased to meet you, sir. As you know, I joined the board when the former member met with an unfortunate accident. She'd read the newspaper report. Tragically, the hard-of-hearing widower caught in a hailstorm in the path of an oncoming train left 5 fatherless daughters. Oh, God bless them. Filling that fine man's shoes is a responsibility I take seriously, he continued. I'm afraid further deliberations are in order on my account. Can you return in 2 weeks? Despair threatened, but she forced a smile. Of course. Tugging on her gloves, she rose, and the 3 men stood in tandem, their bearings as precise as the pinstripes on their suits. Mr. Evans extended a hand. I'll see you out. Oh, that's not necessary, but thank you. Neither the man's smile nor his fleeting dimple dispelled the unease tussling in her middle. His glum associates exchanged a glance, as if communicating some unspoken thoughts. Something was amiss. Pausing at the doorway, Ella straightened her cotton shirtwaist and faced the panel. There's more to it, isn't there? Mr. Chairman eyed her like a whooping crane spying a minnow. See here. We are divided. Mr. Evans stepped nearer with a conciliatory expression. She gave him a nod. Thankfully, she'd chosen her simple linen hat. Her wide-brimmed straw would have bobbled in an unseemly fashion. May I ask the cause of your disagreement? An expression not unlike regret skimmed his features. You see, we've learned of other considerations. The chairman all but shouted. She turned to him, her gaze steady. You've learned I'm not a capable teacher? Of course not. You've an admirable record. Nothing less than excellence was required of a farmer's daughter in need of connections and a stable income. But under the circumstances of your family's... My family? She puffed a curl off her forehead. Your family's reputation. We have our students' good names to consider. Gossip had reached even to Worthington. A finger of ire picked at her restraint. My parents must account for your uncertainty? Why, no. Gavin and Betsy McFarland make a fine Christian couple. So it's my twin brother. To the contrary, Kate McFarland's known to be industrious and honest. I see. It must be Hannah, my 12-year-old sister. Ella had vowed to bridle her saucy tongue or die trying. Would she write her own death warrant this very day? Young woman, you know precisely of whom we speak. Indeed. 'Twas the 3rd McFarland girl, the dark chestnut-haired, golden-eyed beauty, Viola. She returned the chairman's unflinching scrutiny. Thank you for your time. Making such decisions must be difficult. Shaking Mr. Evans's hand and catching a whiff of sandalwood, she strode from the library with her pride intact. Ella was a McFarland. She'd behave as such. Retrieving her parasol from the foyer hall tree, she nodded to the receptionist and helped herself through the double oak doors. As she descended the steps, her dark gored skirt puffed outward with each footfall. She paused at the bottom step and scanned the billowed sky. July's simmering sun and a blanket of reluctant rain clouds had created a sweltering ride to Worthington. Her blouse clung to her damp skin, but she set aside her discomfort. A 2-hour drive stretched before her with household tasks yet to accomplish before dark. She must hurry. Miss McFarland, a strong yet kind male voice halted her at the buggy. It appeared Mr. Evans was persistent as well as gentlemanly. She reached for the buggy's folding step. Here, let me. He bent to release the latch and pressed the handy amenity into place. Sunlight glinted in his hair, as dark a brown as black walnut shells. He touched a hand to her elbow, and she caught another whiff of the manly scent. Bay rum aftershave, perhaps? Thank you, sir. She placed a button-shoed foot on the tread. Her legs wobbled, but she settled into the seat without stumbling. Don't give up hope, Miss McFarland. I'll do everything I can. You're very kind, Mr. Evans. Thank you. Shaking off the disconcerting effect of the man's cobalt eyes, she released the foot brake and flicked open her pendant watch. 10 o'clock. She should make it home in time to help Mama with the noon meal. 5 miles of back roads and a bridge over the Canadian River would take her into Indian Territory. And just past the Washita River, she'd catch sight of the home place where her family awaited news. Ella was their best hope, but hope was growing scarce. Securing her hair with a comb, she squared her shoulders. The snap of the whip belied her crumbling emotions as it urged her mare, Bunny, onto the thoroughfare toward home. So, that's the beginning of Ella's story. I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody, God bless. Stay safe, stay well, stay strong. In Jesus' name. Bye.